If you're into K-pop and music reality shows, I know that you know about the Produce 101 and 48 series. The series is on its third go-around, and to say it's a success would be a major understatement. Now, music reality shows in Korea aren't new, as there's been several of them already, yet the Produce 101 series has been the most popular and hyped as of recent date. But have you wondered why the show is so popular, whereas others fizzled and failed? Well, let's break down why the Produce 101 series is so popular. Now, there's several reasons why the Produce 101 series is so popular. Some you probably already know, while others may surprise you. With that being said, let's get started. So the first one is the Battle Royale of 101 contestants. Now, when I first heard about the parent company of the show, MNet, to have 101 contestants on the show, I wasn't really sure about that idea because I felt that fans would instantly get lost of who's who and would not form bonds with the contestants because there's so many of them. Yet, in reality, it's actually a genius move. So rather than having, say, Group A and Group B compete on who's the best singer or group on the show, rather, it's a lot more exciting to have a flood of contestants competing against one another. This Battle Royale concept is very thrilling to the audience. And if you guys don't know what the Battle Royale concept is, it's basically having a lot of people competing against one another and being the last one to survive. You see this in many forms of pop culture today, from the movie The Hunger Games, to the Japanese cult classic Battle Royale, to video games like PlayerUnknown's Battleground and Fortnite. The Battle Royale concept is very popular. Now, in those movies and games, the rules are very simple. Kill and survive to be the last one standing. And that Battle Royale concept is actually ingrained in Produce 101 and 48. But instead of killing another person, it's actually outperforming and out-singing one another to be one of the final 11 or 12 contestants on the show. And with the audience, you'll view each contestant and form your favorites and bond with them. And you don't want your favorites to get kicked off the show, so you start mass voting. And hopefully your favorite contestant survives to live on for another week. Now you may be asking, well, since there's 101 contestants, won't that mean little to no screen time for some of the contestants? And yeah, that's true. That's one of the downfalls of having so many contestants on the show. But at the same time, I feel that since there's so many contestants on the show, you have to make yourself more memorable in the audience's minds. The next one is the drama on the show. Now, if you just said that the Produce series was basically just a music talent show where talent A and talent B compete, and then the judges vote on which one is the better talent, then that wouldn't be entirely accurate. Because the truth of the matter is, the Produce 101 series is basically a music reality show and a drama. MNet knew from the very start that if it had a music reality show that was purely a talent show, that the viewers didn't know anything about the singers other than their talent, then the show would utterly fail. People wouldn't care about the singers because people want to know about the singers that they're voting for. They want to know where they're from, what's their hopes and dreams, and their little quirks that make them tick. And from there, once the viewer actually knows the singers a little bit, then they start to care about their performance and say, you know what? They're pretty good, I'm gonna vote for them. And from there, the viewers count a lot more about a singer's performance and will ride with them to the very end. Where if you just had a pure talented performer, yeah, they might get some votes because we do admire great talent. Just the fact that we don't know anything else about the singer, a lot of fans might not be invested in that singer because they want to bond with the person that they're voting for. MNet also knows that viewers like the human experience, the human emotion. Whether it's idols that struggle or cry during a berating by the judges, or they're happy and elated when they have a smashing performance. We become a lot closer to the idols when we feel their emotions. The show also has its own storylines and plot lines, much like a movie or anime. From the great rivalries that form, to the K-pop trainee that got into the F team, but is the total underdog story and is determined to make it out into the A or B teams, to the friendships that eventually form on the show. Those are all stories that we're invested in. And if you know one thing about people, is that we love great stories and dramas. They're ingrained to our head, and we remember them for years to come. Another one is the hardships of the K-pop trainee life. Produce 101 shows the tough life of being a K-pop trainee, that the road to become a K-pop star isn't easy at all. The hard K-pop trainee life appeals to several kinds of people, such as the hardcore fans that want to learn more about the industry, the fans that aspire to be a K-pop star one day, and the casual fan watching for entertainment. For the hardcore fans, they learn more about K-pop as a whole. For the aspiring K-pop trainees, they learn what it takes to survive in an industry and how difficult it is. And for the entertainment factor, The viewer follows her favorite singers as they traverse through the harsh world known as the K-pop trainee life. The singers go through a lot of hardships, and there's drama abound. In addition to the K-pop hard life, contestants are tested in courtesy situations via a hidden camera. In Produce 101 Season 1, Episode 5, there are a couple instances where the trainees were tested if they were a kind, considerate person. Situations like spilling coke on the dance floor and seeing who would clean it up, to having a struggling worker bringing in heavy packs of water to see which contestants would help them, would be two of the tests that contestants were given secretly. One of the final tests was a staff member pretending to break a $30,000 camera. So when this happened, the higher-ups hear about the $30,000 camera being broken, and the contestants hear that the staff member is most likely going to be fired. The contestants, feeling horrible even though it wasn't their fault, were tested to see which ones would take the blame for breaking the camera. This test, I have to admit, is kind of messed up, as it really skews into the should I take the blame just to be a good person on the show, even though I didn't do it. It's a lot different from the first two tests where it's more common courtesy. Nonetheless, these common courtesy situations would give a glimpse to the audience which trainees were nice and down to earth. The next reason is the blue shell and Yo-Yo theory from Mario Kart. Now don't worry, I know you hear the word theory and some of you might be like, ooh, while the rest of you guys might be like, oh, theory, oh, this might be boring. Don't worry guys, I'll keep this pretty fun. If you ever played the game Mario Kart, you know it's a racing game where anything can change at any time. So if you're in first place, you're never really safe. And if you're in last place, you're never really out of it. So why is that? It's because of the items in the game. So if you're in first place, the game says, okay, well, since you're in the lead, you don't really need much help, and you'll get some pretty bad items. But if you're in last place, the game thinks, well, you need a way to catch up. So we're gonna give you some awesome weapons. And then one of the weapons is the blue shell. Oh boy, the blue shell. It's like a heat-seeking missile that fires and it tracks a first place person and it hits them. And unless you do some crazy dodging as the first place person, you're pretty much gonna get hit. And you probably will even lose first place as well. I swear that blue shell's probably ended friendships before. It's that frustrating. So Mario Kart pretty much operates on the yo-yo theory, where the positions can change in a race at any time. This makes the game more fun, as even if you're in last place, you're never really truly out of the race. And the same thing goes with Produce 101 and Produce 48. With the Produce series, sure, the contestants get ranked from A to F, and it might suck if you're on the F team, or you get little to no votes, or little to no camera time. But since the show operates on the yo-yo theory, the lower contestants are not truly out of the race. As long as they're not eliminated on the show, they have a fighting chance to catch up. If they get enough votes or have a killer performance, they can catapult their way up to the top 24, if not top 12, within one given week. Take Produce 101's Season 1 for example. In Season 1, the top 11 finalists were not the same as the first week results. Rather, many of the 11 finalists that became I.O.I were outside the top 30 and climbed their way to the top. Chungha is one example, who came from the 30s. Another is Yeonjung, who originally ranked in the 60s. Doyeon was 28th in the first week before gradually climbing. Then you have Sohee, who started off 13th, before dipping at 30th and eventually bouncing back before barely missing the final 11. And of course, you get the rare contestants like Mina, Sejong, or Somi who stay in the top 11 for pretty much the show's run. You also see this in Season 2 when Samuel's rank would bounce around each episode, or when Lai Guanlin peaked at number 2 then dropped to number 18. And Ha Sung-moon rose to the top 3 out of nowhere since he never appeared in the top 11 until that spike to 3rd place. Add to this the group's competition and a reward for winning, 1,000 votes. Now that's no joke. The 1,000 votes for winning is the show's blue shell to speak. It doesn't guarantee a contestant to make it as one of the finalists, but it helps a ton, for it makes any person in that winning group pretty much safe in the next voting period. So overlooked singers on the show can become more noticed if they and their group win their group's competition. All of this is part of the show's unpredictable ranking, as contestants' ranks can change at any time. And this happened in both Seasons 1 and 2, where the second to the final voting results and the final voting results each had different members emerge in the end. Of course, the opposite is true as well. Just because you made the A or B teams doesn't mean you'll always stay up there. Everyone has a fighting chance to catch up. Thus, the top contestants always have to stay on guard and perform to their very best to stay on the top teams. Otherwise, a K-pop trainee from the F team may fire their own blue shell and catapult their way up to the A team. Another one is the awesome performances. Of course, a music reality show has to have some of these, yeah? Whether it's the dance performance by Lee Ga-eun,
or a Red Velvet rendition done by Matsuri Drina, we want to see if these contestants can do the original songs justice. And on a side note, I hope that Drina recovers and she comes back to the show. The group competitions are also exciting since we get to see some of the older, iconic songs being performed. Songs from the older second generation groups such as Big Bang, 21, or Girls' Generation. Wow, I don't actually believe I'm calling them older groups now, but nonetheless, they're always welcome being performed. The performances ups the tension of the show, as we'll see if a group of girls can work together and minimize any mistakes. Any big mistakes, especially from the lead singer, could cost the group a shot at winning. A misstep in a choreography routine or hitting the wrong pitches and high notes in singing only adds to the tension to the group's competition. Thus, these performances decide which singers survive and which ones may possibly be acts from the show. And of course, in addition to the performances, we can't forget about the biggest one of all, the flagship Pick Me songs in each season, where all the contestants perform to. Titled Pick Me, It's Me and Nekoya in the 3 seasons so far, the song adds brand name to the produced series as people instantly associate the song with the show, as well as it becomes a hit when it comes out.
The next one is the editing, and hats off to the Produce 101 and 48 series team for the editing. Like, this editing team honestly should win a major award. It's so key to the show. The editing pretty much emphasizes a lot of the drama, a lot of suspense through like the cuts, slides, and transitions. You definitely feel it as the viewer, because MNet knows that we're suckers for drama in the end.
Another one is the star power. MNet really brings in the who's who of the K-pop and drama celebrity world. From actors Jang Gun-suk and Lee Seung-gi, rapper Cheetah, famed singers Boa and Soyu, and choreographers Ka-hee and Bae Yoon-jung, the show invites a slew of people in the K-pop industry. The celebrity factor adds to the hype of the show as people naturally gravitate towards stardom.
If the first 2 seasons of Produce 101 showed us anything, it's that the winning group will be a wildly successful one. Think of it as creating the next big K-pop group in just a mere couple months. And I know there's a lot of fans that might hate that idea, that they should debut and be around for a couple of years before experiencing big success. I totally understand that point of view. Produce 101 and 48, it really shortcuts that whole process of paying your dues. If I.O.I and 101 are any indication, it's just gonna show that the third rendition of the Produce series is gonna create a group that's equally, if not more popular than the previous 2 groups. And I feel this is gonna be true because a lot of members from I.O.I and 101 are instantly famous as is, some of them doing solo careers and others getting into TV and dramas. The Produce series juggernaut shows no signs of slowing down either, as the show continues to pull in massive ratings, and each season happens to be more successful than the previous season. So MNet and the fans are hoping for the 3rd time's a charm when it comes to Produce 48's winning group, as I'm sure from the show's exposure that the group is already going to be successful. So what do you guys think about this video? What makes Produce 48 so successful? Are you guys fans of the show? Are you guys newcomers of the show? Do you agree or disagree? I'd love to know your comments in the comments below. And if you guys want to learn more about K-pop journalism, how I broke into it, and the life lessons I learned to do it, then please sign up for my free email list below and grab the free ebook. And with that being said, I'm off to watch another music video, but I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy, guys.